While Caitlin is fantastic and I think she's going to have an incredible career in the WNBA, there are women that were worthy of coverage prior to her arriving, and I just will not be silenced when it comes to that.
Here we go again. Why is Caitlin Clark popular?
Caitlin Clark is only popular because she is white. That is a narrative that is very popular among the morons. Major moron, Monica Mcnutt, how she has a job, I absolutely know, at ESPN.
The one thing that I cannot deny is the amount of little girls that were showing up to follow her.
Why her?
Well, but she was a white girl from the middle of America.
You think anybody cares if Dejournay Carrington knocks Kennedy Carter on her ass? No. You think anybody cares if Angel Reese misses her next 6 layups, falls down, shows her ass, and claims sexism? No. We only care that Caitlin Clark is playing. We only care that Caitlin Clark is getting beat up. We only care that Caitlin Clark is hitting a deep three. We only care that Caitlin Clark is getting poked in the eye. Everybody else can poke everybody else in the eye. The reason we care because her game is something we have not seen.
The tension in women's basketball has officially boiled over. We are talking about a massive legal showdown. The drama surrounding Caitlin Clark has reached a dangerous tipping point. If you follow her career, what just went down behind the scenes will change everything. This clash between the court and the studio is about much more than basketball. It is about respect. The young superstar is finally fighting back. She is drawing a hard line in the sand against her biggest critics. The clash between Caitlin Clark and her critics in the media seemed bad enough, and then it got worse. Legal shockwaves just rocked the sports world. Word of Caitlin Clark filing a complaint against ESPN reporter Monica Mcnutt leaked moments ago. Clark claims Mcnutt spread racially charged lies that hurt her reputation, insulted fans, and tried to derail the biggest rise the WNBA has ever seen. The media spent months dissecting her, but nobody actually expected legal papers to fly. Now, the tables are turning in a massive way. The entire sports industry is in shock. No one expected this kind of aggressive move from her legal team. But here we are. The gloves are completely off now.
Prevailing narrative that has been created around this season's WNBA play is that it's the league versus Caitlin Clark, and that is just absolutely false. It is unfair to the women that have been there building this league to this moment so that Caitlin Clark's popularity could take it to the next level.
I don't expect the race baiting to stop. I don't expect the hate to stop, the jealousy to stop, the sexism to stop, the bigotry to stop, the stupidity to stop. Because the people that tell you that Caitlin Clark is only popular because she's a white girl are full of shit. You either don't pay attention or you're too dumb.
For months, Mcnutt quietly suggested Clark's massive fame was about her skin color, not her actual game, calling her a white, middle-class girl whose only real appeal was to young suburban kids.
Their time to watch Caitlin Clark play basketball because they're racially motivated.
But Caitlin is pushing back in court. What finally pushed her over the edge?
Here's what Caitlin Clark said. Y'all come at me like this, I'm not doing any interviews with you. Y'all keep coming at it with these dumbasses, Monica Mcnutt. I'm done with you. I'm not doing interviews with you. We'll go play in the Unrivaled League, and let's see which league gets going. And then let's see where the hell we're at. Your dumbasses at ESPN want to get up there and be racist as hell towards me. I don't participate in racism. Next time I hear that bullshit, we ain't playing in the game that you're telling.
Why is Mcnutt reportedly breaking down behind the scenes? How did a basic TV take spiral into a massive legal battle? Let us break down the whole story.
Women, Monica Mcnutt, they're either too arrogant or too stupid to understand that what they've said all along about Caitlin Clark is just simply wrong.
If it was because she was white, Sabrina Ionescu would have changed and brought the WNBA and turned it on its head. But she is not turning the W upside down on its head like Caitlin Clark is.
Whoever these people are, none of these women are going to come back and say, yeah, you know what? We might have been wrong about, well, she's a white girl and that's the reason she's so popular.
Brace yourselves. What just happened could change the face of sports media forever. Fans are already rallying, shouting that her legendary success comes from hard work and skill, not the color of her skin. They want to prove that talent and pure grit still matter in the game.
Continue their jealousy. They'll continue to hit, fight, knock Caitlin Clark on her ass, and Caitlin Clark's viewings will just go up, up, up.
The WNBA draft ticket prices have come out, and thanks to the Caitlin Clark effect, ticket prices have skyrocketed for the WNBA draft. In fact, they've doubled.
Hey Fever fans, it's Caitlin Clark. I can't wait to get to Indianapolis. I know you guys are excited. I am too. Go Fever.
There's no way the WNBA could have draft and not have Caitlin Clark involved. Caitlin Clark appearance, commentary, something that's going to have her in the venue in front of people, even if it's just standing around. People are going to pay money to want to see that. Tell me once more how the Caitlin Clark.
It all began with what seemed like a standard interview. ESPN analyst Monica Mcnutt went on the BBC. The topic was the wild media storm surrounding Caitlin Clark's rookie year. And that is when Mcnutt dropped a comment that ignited everything.
America. It's impossible for the women on television, the racist, sexist, to give.
She argued that because Clark was a white girl from middle America, she represented something massive, completely separate from her actual words. That single statement changed the whole conversation forever.
Clark's game sells. Her attitude sells. She doesn't talk much. When she does, we pay attention. Has nothing to do with her being a white girl. It has to do with her game. It has to do with taking Iowa. Has to do with deep threes. Has to do with behind the back, no look passes. We're drawn to those type players. Black, white, green, or purple.
Subscribe. Monica made an effort to.
Monica tried to soften the blow, calling Clark a talented and highly exciting athlete. But she was looking beyond the stat sheet. She was making the case that Clark's massive rise was not just about her skill on the hardwood. She tied the whole thing directly to her race. And for many passionate basketball fans, that was the exact moment this narrative turned completely toxic.
There's the two sides who think she is only popular and does have the notoriety and recognition that she does because she is white. There is the other side that says you guys are crazy, you're all jealous of her, and she is just talented.
Critics fired back immediately. They argued Mcnutt made it sound like fans only showed up because of her race, completely ignoring her elite skills and highlight plays.
Why have all these fans come to see Caitlin? And all the little suburban white girls have hopped on board because Caitlin Clark, she resonates with them more so.
People quickly pointed out the double standard. Would anyone complain if someone called A.J. Wilson or Angel Ree role models for young black girls? Of course not. But suddenly it becomes a massive issue when we talk about Clark and her crowd.
I'm going to need all the race baiters who explain Caitlin Clark's popularity simply because she's white to explain why 10 million more people watched her last year than Paige Becker's, also white, this year. And a lot of people, of course, said she had Angel Reese as the villain. 18.9 million, the most ever. The 18.5 million did not involve Angel Reese. It involved USC, South Carolina. Guess who's this year? Game involved. That was 10 million down from last year. South Carolina. Two biggest names in college basketball this year. Actually, they were in this Final Four. They were in this championship game. And yet, the ratings tanked. The ratings were over 50% less.
This was not some casual observation. It felt calculated, and it went far beyond just Clark. Intended or not, Monica's words cast a shadow over every kid who showed up to support her. Suddenly, kids waiting hours in line for an autograph, holding up signs and wearing her jersey, were framed through a lens of racial division. Imagine how that felt, not just for Clark, but for ordinary families who simply wanted to cheer for a player they loved.
Clark in Iowa set a record for the 4 most watched games ever in the women's Final Four involved Iowa and Caitlin Clark. People are going to tell you that the reason Caitlin Clark was so popular in college was her rivalry with Angel Reese. But there is no Angel Reese. There was no Angel Reese. There was South Carolina. Angel Reese played at LSU.
Monica might have thought she was making a deep point about representation, but to most of the crowd, it sounded like something else entirely. A subtle but sharp hint that Clark didn't earn her success, that it was simply handed down. Not because of her hard work, grit, or rare talent, but simply because she is white and from the Midwest.
to prove why people are invested and interested and can't stop looking at Caitlin Clark. Like, she has broken a record for records. As a rookie, she has done things nobody else has done. Stats do not require race as a prerequisite. They just are what they are.
Tickets for Monday's upcoming WNBA draft have nearly doubled since last year. Attendees this year will pay $99 or more to sit in the lower tier. Last year, when Clark was drafted, the ticket.
That is where the damage started, and Caitlin Clark remembered. Monica Mcnutt's comments were not ignored. They became the spark that set the sports world ablaze. You stand up to bullies. You never back down.
And up to bullies. You don't acquiesce. Because when you acquiesce or apologize, it will never stop. You stand up to bullies. You tell them go F themselves.
Critics from all walks of life started criticizing her almost immediately after.
Almost as soon as the interview aired, critics came forward to condemn her. They called it a cheap shot fueled by racial bias against a young athlete who only wants to play the game she loves. Podcasters, conservative commentators, and former athletes all blasted Monica for dragging race into a space where it did not belong. But painting Caitlin Clark as the face of systemic bias in women's basketball was even worse.
Caitlin Clark does have a further three-point range than even Steph Curry, and that is just kind of bonkers. Think about how popular Steph Curry is. Caitlin Clark shoots farther away on average than he does.
It all comes back to Caitlin Clark's popularity. I believe it is based on basketball more than anything else. Look at what went viral from the Letterman.
As one sports analyst put it, she was not just targeting Clark. She was targeting every young girl who looks up to her. Other critics argued Mcnutt crossed the line by injecting race into the innocent world of childhood fandom, essentially accusing young kids who just want to support their idol of having deep, unspoken bias. That hit a nerve. One commentator went so far as to call it a bottom feeder move, labeling the remarks a shocking new low.
Clark made the comments to Time magazine. Monica Mcnutt recently said on BBC, perhaps a big reason for Caitlin Clark's popularity is she's white and from the Midwest.
The Monica Mcnutt stuff, and specifically with this level of media, we're talking about with ESPN, their issue with Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark represents Trump America, MAGA America. They see her and they say, this is someone that everybody who roots for probably voted for Donald Trump, and I hate Donald Trump, and I hate those red hats, and I hate everything that represents to me.
But the anger did not stop there. The outrage quickly snowballed, and soon the hashtag #ProtectCaitlin began trending everywhere across social media. Fans started sharing videos of Clark signing autographs for both black and white kids. Heartwarming post-game photos emerged showing her hugging young girls of every background. These images directly challenged Mcnutt's claim that Clark's fan base was racially exclusive.
Little girls said, hey, I can relate to Caitlin Clark. She's like us. She has a boyfriend. There's a lot of parents that feel real comfortable taking their kids to a game.
ESPN and claimed that Monica McDougal is an NBA analyst. Obviously, Monica never played in the NBA. Monica wasn't even good enough to play in the WNBA.
Monica offered no public apology, but her silence only fueled the fire. Outkick analysts and sports personalities like Dave Portnoy quickly joined the fray, slamming ESPN for using identity politics to attack one of the very few players actually bringing eyes and money to the WNBA. One writer went even further with a brutal critique. They argued ESPN wanted to bury Clark under claims of white privilege, even while knowing she is the sole reason the league is finally thriving. He wrote that Mcnutt and her peers simply could not stand that a white girl from Iowa had done more for the league than decades of marketing and social activism.
Than decades of racial branding and social activity.
Paige Beckers is a terrific player. She'll capture the imagination a little. She'll do some commercials, but she's not going to be Caitlin Clark because she doesn't have that kind of game. Don't try to compare her to Diana Taurasi or Miller's sister, Cheryl Miller, Tamika Catchings. No, her game is different. It's better. It's flashier. It resonates with the way basketball is played today.
And that is when things took a darker turn, as insiders and fans began connecting the dots. On the court, Caitlin Clark was constantly taking hits. The hard fouls, the nonstop trash talk, and the elbows to the face suddenly seemed far from random. The narrative pushed by Mcnutt and the media had essentially painted a massive target on Clark's back. To them, she represented privilege, institutional whiteness, and the country's deep obsession with race. And that narrative gave other players a green light, fair or not, to go after her. Two things stand out. It has to become part of the stories we tell, and our families need to encourage it. Absolutely.
To me, right? And so covering the WNBA this past season, Caitlin Clark's rookie year, for all of the conversation that surrounded her, some which was fair and some which wasn't, the one thing that I cannot deny is the amount of little girls that were showing up to follow her, little girls with their parents, and the fervor and the energy there.
Why her?
Same thing.
Why her?
Well, I was just about to say same thing for Angel Reese when I had a chance to cover their games, but I think Caitlin represented. And again, some of this to me probably is not fair to her because it was not anything that she said or was truly based on her personality, but she was a white girl from the middle of America. And so she represented a whole lot to a lot of people, whether that is truly what she prescribed to or not. We can all say she is a dynamic basketball player and a force both on the court and the marketing sense. But I do think, same thing with folks that may have fallen in love with Angel Reese that she may or may not have agreed with everything they had to say either. We attach our fandom to these icons for all types of reasons.
Former black players have decided, hey, we're going to hate on Caitlin Clark constantly to elevate ourselves, but also trigger her fans so that they'll keep coming to games and rooting for her. And
no one was shocked when Clark finally decided she had enough. The only real surprise was that she took it to a court of law. But Monica Mcnutt's words, the fierce backlash, and the public storm that turned a young basketball star into a cultural lightning rod, the seeds were planted right here. What began as standard media drama has now escalated into a massive legal war.
The WNBA will get past your racism, past your sexism, and see a woman that just freaking balls like we like to see.
Reports show that Caitlin Clark, the quiet but confident rookie carrying the entire league's future on her shoulders, is suing Monica Mcnutt for defamation, claiming she stoked racial hostility and severely damaged her career. This goes way beyond a simple public relations mess.
Logo threes, passes the ball like Magic Johnson, scores a lot of points, leads the league in assists. She's a great, great player, and she plays and shoots and releases the ball like Steph Curry. So there's the attraction to the exciting style of play. A'ja Wilson should be centered, and they should be celebrating her. And all the little white girls should want to be like A'ja Wilson. Little black girls don't want to be like A'ja Wilson.
Insiders close to the case claim that the lawsuit focuses on Monica Mcnutt's
Sources close to the legal battle say the lawsuit zeroes in on Mcnutt's constant claims that Clark's fame stems from her skin color and appeal to certain groups rather than actual talent. It points directly to those viral comments framing Clark as a product of racial bias rather than rare athletic gift. Her lawyers argue these statements were not just false, they were deeply destructive.
She's different. She's a white girl from the middle of corn country.
They like Caitlin Clark because she's not a victim, because she doesn't seem to be.
The lawsuit alleges that Mcnutt's commentary triggered a dangerous chain reaction, leading to a noticeable rise in on-court aggression, intense hostility from reporters, and systematic efforts to downplay her achievements. Clark argues that once Mcnutt painted her as some privileged icon, the floodgates opened. Suddenly she was taking elbows to the face, getting mocked during press events, and facing constant jeers from opponents. The legal filing asserts this transformed Clark into a lightning rod for hate, but the impact reaches far beyond sports.
Of appreciating Clark for leading the WNBA out of the abyss and into the mainstream conversation, mean girls and race clowns met her with resistance. Because Caitlin Clark's white, that's why little girls have gravitated towards her. I think what she's saying is ridiculous, and to tie it to little girls, you're going as low as humanly possible.
At the core of her defense is the claim that Mcnutt's comments weaponize dangerous and harmful stereotypes. Suddenly, success in women's basketball only gets recognized if it fits a very specific narrative. Mcnutt did not just insult Clark's supporters. She divided a league already fighting for unity by labeling her entire fan base as racist. According to the lawsuit, ticket sales, television ratings, merchandise, and general hype all went through the roof the moment Clark entered the draft, proving her massive impact on the league. The suit argues Clark was never just another athlete. She literally breathed new life into the WNBA. And Mcnutt trying to downplay that with racial spin was not just wrong, it was malicious. Behind closed doors, the emotional fallout caught a lot of people off guard. Sources claim Monica Mcnutt was visibly shaken after she was served with the papers. One ESPN insider reported seeing her in tears, completely stunned that her time in the spotlight had devolved into a massive lawsuit. Another report suggests she believes she was offering tough commentary, not committing defamation, but Clark is not backing down. The damage was already done.
Attendance had a record-breaking high in 20 years with a total of 2.3 million fans attending games. You know what the increase was from 2024 to 2023 in attendance? 48%. That's massive. That's the Caitlin Clark effect.
Phenomenon, yeah.
If Caitlin Clark gets injured, it's over with.
This legal battle has completely rocked the WNBA, ESPN, and the entire way we talk about race and gender in sports media today. Instead of just ignoring the background noise, this player decided not to take the easy way out. Caitlin Clark chose to fight back with legal power, hard facts, and receipts. This is no longer just a debate. At the heart of this lawsuit are truth, reputation, and what it actually means to be a superstar in women's sports. Right now, this is bigger than basketball. It is about the price of greatness and what happens when a young athlete refuses to let lies rewrite her legacy. Caitlin Clark did not ask for this fight. She shattered records, outworked everyone, and played smarter than the rest to earn her place at the top. But she did exactly what champions do. She stood her ground when the noise got too loud and headlines twisted the truth.
Single one of you WNBA players, you better pray that Caitlin Clark doesn't get injured, because she's keeping your league afloat.
Juju Watkins goes down with a devastating injury that might keep her out next season. God forbid. If the same thing happens to Caitlin Clark, the WNBA will not survive. You have one young woman carrying the entire league. And Monica McDougal and her pretend friends in the media, they are doing everything they can.
Monica Mcnutt now finds herself trapped in a storm of her own making. One that could cost her both her career and the public's trust. There is always a steep price when commentary turns into character assassination. As this courtroom drama unfolds, one thing is clear. Caitlin Clark is not just changing the WNBA, she is completely shifting how we talk about discrimination, media accountability, and what happens when the truth finally fights back. So, who are you backing in this battle for the soul of women's basketball? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you choose facts over narrative, hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe too, because this story is far from over and we will be tracking every single twist and turn. Until next time, keep your eyes on the court, stay authentic, and stay sharp.